organization using the Net Promoter Score, then there's a really good chance that you are also using something that's called direct feedback. What do I mean with direct feedback? Direct feedback is that customers rate you a score, and based on that score, you are reaching out to individual customers. So let's say I rate you a 5 out of 10, then that signal is sent, for example, to a call center agent. They will reach out and call me to ask, hey, Zanna, we saw that you score a 5. What can we do to make you happy, right? That's direct feedback. So responding to an individual score. Why am I not a fan? Let me just be direct, right? Not a fan. Well, let's say not necessarily not a fan, but again, here you need to know how and when to use it. So what do I see happening? I see that many companies have implemented direct feedback, pushed oftentimes by survey tooling companies who say, hey, we can technically facilitate direct feedback, but the organizations don't realize how small of an impact it is, while it's a huge time investment, right? Capacity investment to actually make sure you call everybody back. Okay, so maybe a small bit of history. So direct feedback also comes from the Net Promoter Score methodology. But originally, the Net Promoter Score stems from a B2B contact. Where what was the organization that Reichheld observed? What were they doing? They were a B2B company. They saw that recommending someone was a predictor of profitability. So they were doing direct feedback that if a customer was not happy, the account manager got a signal and they reached out. Remember B2B. And remember the goal, right? The goal was profitability. But now, a lot of companies that are in B2C, they have thousands of customers, and they are implementing direct feedback, and it's a hassle to get all the employees to actually call customers back. So it's an operational challenge, but for me, what's even more important is to do this calculation together, because they are overestimating the impact of direct feedback on the experience of customers. Let's do the calculation. Okay, let's assume you're sending 100% of your customers a survey, which will be less, right? But let's assume. Let's assume that 20% of the customers responds, which is pretty high, right? It's probably lower in reality. Let's assume that a quarter of your customers are unhappy and that you're going to call them back. That means that only 5% of your customers are actually impacted by direct feedback, assuming that the agents will call everybody, assuming that you're reaching out 100% of customers. So in reality, it's probably closer to 1 or 2% of the customers. So often when I do that calculation with companies, they're saying, we didn't think about it like that. So the impact that you're making on an individual customer is high, right? If you call me out of 1,000 customers, I'll be surprised that you call me, right? That has a positive impact. But the sheer number of customers that you are impacting is really low, right? That's the max 1 or 2%. So I always say, if you want to do direct feedback, do it for, let's say, high value customers. At least make strategic choices on how to use direct feedback. That's one side of the equation. The other side is that sometimes then companies say, yes, okay, I understand your calculation, but when we learn from the feedback that we're getting and what we need to improve, and when we actually improve that, then we're impacting everybody, right? And then I'm saying, yes, but check out the root cause and driver analysis video, because the feedback that you're collecting, so we saw two things. One is that the feedback that you're getting out of the direct feedback is no different than what we saw in call reasons, in existing satisfaction research. So it was not additional insights. But more importantly, if you're asking customers directly why they aren't happy, you're getting rational answers, right? They might say it was the price of the product. Well, it's never the price, right? It's never the rational reason. So also the data that you're collecting are not actually the biggest drivers that you can improve to have the biggest impact on NPS or satisfaction. So to summarize, if you're doing direct feedback, just really assess if the amount of time and resources you're investing in, it's actually worth it, knowing that you're impacting only 1 or 2%. Right? Just be sure to assess how are we using it, and is it actually adding value, or should we do something else?